from there. Let's move on, though. This is the Money Down Pod. That is Sean White. I am Kayvon Izami. Please follow us on Twitter at Money Down Pod. Let us know your thoughts on everything going on in free agency. Sean, we had some breaking news today, and that is Tyreek Hill is getting shipped out from Kansas City to Miami for 5 picks. 5 first-round picks. He also got a 4-year, $120 million extension. And we also saw a couple days ago, Devontae Adams get shipped out. Let's start with Tyreek Hill since that's the most new news here. Thoughts on Tyreek Hill, and are you shocked Kansas City did this? And are you surprised Miami was willing to give up what they did for him?
I think the report coming out that he was getting traded shocked me at first. But after figuring out that they had offered him the amount of money they offered him, and then he was still like, nah. Then it was like, okay, they're going to trade him, which makes sense. That's what good organizations, well-run franchises like Kansas City does.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, he's 28 and he's a speed receiver. At some point, he's going to lose his speed. It might not be this year. It might not be next year. He's going to start to slow down at some point, which brings you to the compensation. Miami, I feel like they felt had to do this because they're trying to support Tua as best they can. Let's be real. Greer knows he missed on that pick when Herbert's out there playing the way he is. And he's trying to, like, figure it out and be like, okay, we're going to try to make this work as best we can. This is the prove-it year for Tua now. You have every weapon you could possibly have. It's a good fit for them, but they gave up a ton. They gave up too much, in my opinion. You can't give up 5 picks for a guy like that. And I saw Jags fans going crazy, and that drove me insane. How could you not trade for Tyreek Hill? Because we're not giving up 5 picks for a dude right now to pay as the highest receiver when we just signed a slot receiver anyway. So that's where that didn't make sense. The whole thing is that's a lot of picks and that's a lot of money for a player that they're basically bringing in to try to prove that Tua is the right guy. And that's what it is. Yeah. They're doing everything they can to surround him. I actually think he fits the scheme well. So it's actually a good play if that's what they're trying to do. But the amount they gave up was way too much. And I agree. I think Kansas City did well. I mean, they're gonna draft a receiver this year. It's a good receiver draft. I mean, hell, he's one of my favorite receivers in the draft. Jameson Williams is fast as can be.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be multiple teams after him, and Kansas City will probably be one of them. It wouldn't shock me to see them trade up for him and try to replace Tyreek Hill that way. They're going to draft a receiver or two. Kansas City's going to be fine. They need cheap labor with the Mahomes contract. Yeah. Mahomes is going to make you look good no matter what. That's what happens when you have a great quarterback. It makes sense for them. It makes sense for Miami, but Miami gave up too much. That's my opinion on it.
Completely agree. 5 picks, man. No. 5 picks. All your little Jaguars people on Twitter, that's absurd. That's absurd, man. And also, man, 4 years, $120 million is absurd too. Like, I'm sorry, but like, come on. Like what the Chiefs offered him, that was fair. That he didn't want to take that. Then you move on. And I'm going to be honest, I bet the Chiefs were shocked. I bet the Chiefs said, let's move on. And they said, wait a second, we can get 5 picks? Okay, yeah, let's definitely move on. I think Miami overplayed their hand. I think they got worried that the Jets were involved. And they said, let me throw out some more here. And they did it. To me, the biggest thing that I read from this is, one, the Chiefs are getting worse as teams in the AFC West are getting better. But I do think that they still have the best quarterback. They still clearly have the best coach. So I'm not too worried about them. And like you said, they will draft someone. The biggest takeaway for me is this. There's absolutely zero excuses left for Tua. This is it. They just got you Teron Armstead, who you can say is one of the best, if not the best, out there in free agency. Like a lot of people said, he was the best player in free agency out of all these quarterbacks.
They got him. He's a top 5 left tackle.
Exactly. So they got him. They already have Jalen Waddle, who is an absolute catching machine. Now they have Tyreek Hill. They brought Gesicki back, right? They brought Gesicki back?
Yeah, Gesicki's back, yes.
Gesicki's back. They signed Cedric Wilson from Miami, who he's pretty good, man. Like he's not bad. Like and they also brought in 2 running backs in Kenyon Drake and Raheem Mostert.
Chase Edmonds. And
Yes, that's what I meant. Chase Edmonds, who's good, and Raheem Mostert, and they also got a really smart offensive coach. Like, there is no more excuses, bro. If Tua is going to work out, we're going to find out this year, Sean. Now, I'm not saying he has to pop on the scene and be like Josh Allen this year. It's still going to be his first year in the new system. It's still going to take time. But he's got to show a lot of improvement behind this line with those weapons this year, bro. Like, we are going to learn about Tua now.
Yeah, so I have two fun one's a fun take and one's like a fit take. So I'm going to go with like the football take first. Tyreek Hill actually fits their offense really well looking at it. Because if you want to take a little bit of the Shanahan offense with you, when you run the 12 personnel, you kind of have Gesicki like as your slot guy, and then you have the two speed guys on the outside. And when you want to split somebody out wide, Gesicki can be your X, so you ain't got to worry about it as much. You can still bunch formation Waddle and Hill together, and that's a lot of speed you have to deal with without a clean bump on the bump and run type coverage. So I think its scheme fits well. I know a lot of people are making fun of like Tua's not going to be able to get the ball downfield to him. I think kind of what they look at with this is, well, the same way they looked at Waddle is just on the other side you have Hill. It's going to be quick 20-yard ins, outs, and then they're going to break the extra 40 off their speed, which makes sense in that way. So I do like the scheme fit there, and they're going to be run heavy. This is a fun one that I want to throw out to you that I think is just a fun take that we're having with all this offseason stuff. Because at this point, anything can happen.
Yes.
Do you think this is a setup to get Brady next year?
That is hilarious. Listen,
because he's a free agent.
I'll tell you this. I'll say this. I think that the smoke about Brady not being so fond with Bruce Arians, I think that's not just smoke. I think that there's some fire to that. I also think that Brady for sure does want to keep playing at this year. He didn't want to retire. He's not going to stay retired. He's going to play multiple years. That's fascinating to me. That really is. I don't see it. It's just so hard for me to picture Brady wanting to play against Belichick twice a year. But man, everyone's got some vengeance in them. Everyone's got some stuff that they want to just go at someone. Maybe he does. I don't see it. To me, what makes more sense is it doesn't make more sense because that makes sense. What to me maybe more likely is he goes to San Fran. If they think Trey Lance isn't the guy next year and they decide to just say screw it real quick and he goes to San Fran. It's interesting though. That's interesting. I don't see it though.
Yeah, no, I was just going with the smoke that like they're going to have him be a minority owner whenever he gets the opportunity and everything. Yeah. It wouldn't shock me if Stephen Ross would try to pull something off like that.
Oh, I bet he would try.
I mean, I guarantee he'd give it a shot for sure because that's kind of where I'm looking at it with it. But I just thought it was interesting that it's like, well, you got two speed guys. Brady's like one of the most accurate dudes there is. He's just going to hit them on slants up and down. Has a tight end there already. And you know that they're going to have the run game with McDaniel. I just thought that was an interesting one. I want to throw it out there for fun just because
you never know.
But the other move, let's get to Devontae. So the other move that happened, Devontae Adams got traded from Green Bay to the Raiders. The Packers offered him the same contract, which was the record-breaking receiver deal. And Rodgers knew about this. I didn't know Rodgers knew at first, so my reaction is different now. I thought the Packers just screwed Aaron Rodgers, which would have been kind of hilarious. And I would have felt real bad for Rodgers, to be honest.
It would have been the done. I mean, how incompetent could you be? I was like, there's no way they could have done this. But I thought maybe they did too until I read the reports.
Yeah, but Devontae apparently just chose he wanted to go play with Derek Carr and be in Las Vegas. It was more of a where he wanted to live thing. And I can't fault him for that. People like home. I mean, that's how it goes. You want to go back to where you want to be at in Las Vegas. You have a house there. One of your best friends, Derek Carr, more power to you. I don't think he's going to have the production he had with Rodgers. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Rodgers honed in on him, and you're also going to a place where Waller and Renfro is there. That offense is going to be potent. Let's be honest. That's a potent offense now. Lots of weapons everywhere. The ball's going to get spread around, and they have a go-to guy in Devontae. But it really leaves the Packers with a hole, and I think they have 2 firsts, 2 seconds. 2 receivers have got to get drafted because they've got to have somebody for Rodgers to throw to. Or else he's just going to have to go lay in his pile of money because I don't see them getting very far.
I don't even know if the Green Bay front office knows how to draft wide receivers, bro. I'm serious, man. When's the last time they've drafted like a receiver, like a legit receiver? Like What?
Devontae Adams.
Exactly. Like I would not be shocked at all, man, if they took like a linebacker or like a quarter with the first round pick. Like that, I could totally see it happen. Let me ask you this before I go. Does this feel like any shot at Aaron Rodgers to you by Devontae Adams? Does this feel like it's anything that has to do? Am I just trying to stir up drama here? Or does this feel like there's some type of, I don't want to play with this guy anymore. He's selfish. Like, does it feel weird to you?
Yeah, didn't Devontae come out and say he was kind of tired of all the drama in Green Bay?
He
I feel like he
did,
said that.
and he didn't say anything about Rodgers when he thanked the Green Bay and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think he has a good relationship with Rodgers. I just think he probably got a little fed up with the whole situation. And you got your guy over there. Like, I mean, it'd be like if me and you grew up playing together and then we played college. Like, I'd have a chance to go play with you again and be like, okay, that's what I'd
Yeah.
want to do. Like, he's just tight with Derek. So, yeah, I think he probably got a little fed up with Rodgers drama. And then it's like, okay, I can go play with my dude. And that was the only place he was going, it seems like, as well. So like that's why when you look at other teams, like, oh, we could have got Devontae Adams. I think he was only going to go play in Vegas, or he'd end up staying with the Packers. So I don't think it's a full shot at Rodgers. I just think it was like he's a little sick of what was going on and was like, okay, I'm gonna go play with Derek instead. So that's where that makes sense for me. But I agree with you. I think it's a thinly veiled shot at Rodgers.
I also think that it's another mark on some incompetence to the Green Bay front office, and this is what I mean. Adams and his agent, bro, were very vocal about not playing on the franchise tag. I mean, to the point where they were like saying, we don't even want that tag. Like, do not put the tag on me. Like, for some reason, Devontae Adams kind of felt like the tag was disrespectful. Like that's kind of like what he was saying. And again, that kind of goes back to Rodgers though, because they were in this situation where they had to tag him because they didn't know if Rodgers was coming back or not. They didn't know what to do. So like they could have given him an extension last year. They didn't know. He didn't know if Rodgers was coming back. Why would he sign? So like I really think he was upset about the tag. And I think he realized that had to do with not just the front office, but it had to do with Rodgers. And I think he just put it all together and said, I want out. I don't think he's like pissed off at the organization or mad at Rodgers, but I do think that had something to do with it. Like all of that put together made it where, why don't I just go to Vegas where my best friend's there? There's no drama, all that stuff. I will tell you this on the Vegas part, my take of I don't like the McDaniels hire is not coming out to form very well right now because they've gotten freaking Chandler Jones. They've gotten Devontae Adams. Like, I mean, Josh McDaniels has a world of riches to work with right now, bro. Like, he's got to make that work, right? Like, you got to make that work this year. I mean, I'm not saying they have to win the Super Bowl this year, but I understand it's the AFC. Missing the playoffs would be pretty disappointing, especially since they made it last year.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. They got a solid O-line. Their defense is much improved. They have, I mean, if you want to stack their weapons up, I'd put top 5, 7 in the league. Like,
no
if I
doubt. And also two of the most dominant pass rushers, Max Crosby and Chandler Jones together. That's scary. I mean, that they've got everything they need to work with, dude.
Yeah, they definitely are going to have to go that way as well and try to make the playoffs. That's a tough division, too. I feel like they did it because they knew they had to keep up in that division. With Russell, with the Chiefs, back when they still had Hill, when you have the Chargers paying all these people. I completely get it, man, on the Raiders side. And I actually like the move a lot. I think
I love the move. And
I was going to say, go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say, and we're going to get way into this part of it. So I'm not going to get too into it right now. The fantasy applications, because again, guys, we're going to do hella fantasy shows when that time of year comes around, drafts and all that stuff. The fantasy implications of it, you're right. It doesn't, I mean, it's Devontae Adams is still the best receiver in the game, but like he was so good on Green Bay, it was worth drafting him like number 1 overall at some point. I don't know if that's the same here with Waller and Renfro, and Carr's not someone that really forces the ball anyways to one guy. He likes to spread it around a little bit. So again, I don't want to get too into that, but the fantasy implications of this will be fascinating.
Yeah, for sure. And I wanted to talk too, right quick, just to finish it off. I think this signals a little bit of a change in philosophy for Rodgers in general with the Packers. I think you saw when LaFleur came in, he wanted to bring the Shanahan scheme and system to Rodgers. And I think he did bring that a little bit. And you saw the run game more. And you saw Rodgers kind of mesh his own style with it to where
Yeah.
he did a lot of check with me's at the line, but LaFleur gave him good play calls from the side. I think you're going to see them lean heavy, heavy, heavy into the run game now with the two backs they have because even if they get two receivers drafted, they're still going to have to rely more on the run game. I also think this was a good way for Green Bay to get over a problem they were having. While you can make the argument that, yeah, you need to get him a solid number two that he trusts, that he's able to throw to so he doesn't feel like he has to target Adams the whole time, getting rid of Adams completely is going to force him to spread the ball around no matter what now. He's going to have to throw to more people and trust more people. So I can definitely see a heavy run game influence for Green Bay. And I can see him spreading the ball out to 5, 6 different receivers now, which I think is actually going to be good for Rodgers in the long run. I think he's just going to adjust his play style more to that Shanahan system that LaFleur runs. And it'll be an interesting mesh to see. I think the defense is going to stay together. They signed Devondre Campbell back. They still have Gary and Preston Smith. They have Kenny Clark. Their secondary is still solid. I think they're going to become more of a defense run game team and rely on Rodgers even less than they were doing already. And I think that could be a little solid for them moving forward.
That's a fascinating point. Love that point. Great, great point there. That's a very positive way to look at it for Packers fans out there. That it actually could. And say, look, it's not going to be like addition by subtraction or anything. Adams is amazing, but they are going to have to, and that could help, man. Because one of the things in the playoffs was he was just forcing that ball to Adams, and it wasn't going there when other guys actually were open. The infamous Allen Lazard was open down in the middle there. He hits them. They get the first down. Who knows what happens? So it's a really good point there. It'll be interesting. But again, to get to that, they got to get more receivers in that room in the first place. I do want to just say one thing that came to my mind about the Tyreek Hill. Watch for Odell. I wouldn't be shocked if Odell went to Kansas City. Now, I know the Rams and Les Snead, they're all out here saying, we want Odell, he's staying, all this stuff. Just, I wouldn't be surprised if he somehow finds his way to Kansas City. I don't think it happens. I think, like you said, they more go with J-Mo or Chris Olave or someone in the draft like that. But there's still some receivers out there. There's AJ Green's out there. There's still Jarvis Landry. Like, obviously, none of those guys are Tyreek Hill. But there's still a lot of receivers that need to make moves here. So that's something to watch as we go.
Yeah, I think the Rams kind of told you what they thought about Odell a little bit by going to get Allen Robinson.
Yes.
Because if they thought Odell was all that, like, that they needed him that bad, I feel like he'd have been more of a priority to at least get like a 1-2 year deal going coming off the ACL. And hey, maybe they think, okay, we'll just get the weapon back for the playoffs and sign him for cheap. But I don't know if they're going to be able to sign him for as cheap as they thought, because there's the reports that he'd be willing to go back to Cleveland now that Deshaun's there and play with Jarvis again. And I would not shock me one bit what you're saying, that he would end up going to Kansas City or something like that. I could see Odell being like, okay, I don't think they're going to pay me a lot here in Los Angeles, and even though I love it, I want a Super Bowl here. I can go get more money and still be a bigger focal point in the offense at one of these other places. I can see Odell making that decision. That wouldn't shock me one bit. And the Rams don't really need him, let's be honest. They still have Kupp, now Robinson, and Van Jefferson. They'll probably draft another one either way. They drafted Tutu Atwell last year. They still have him as well. They definitely could move on from Odell, and I don't think it would be a problem. But I don't think they can impact the locker room and be like, we don't want you back. So I think Odell would have to make that decision. And I think the Rams would be fine with it.
No doubt. No doubt about that. Last thing, and then we can get out of here. There will be an 11-win, maybe even multiple 11-win teams, Sean, that don't make the playoffs this year in the AFC.
You think so?
It's the most stacked a conference has ever been. I'm serious, man. There will be an 11-team win that doesn't make the playoffs this year. Like, it's that possible. Definitely a 10-win team. Bro, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. It's the most absurd conference ever. And ever in football. It's nuts. It's seriously nuts, bro. Like, you guys as Jags, you guys could make a whole leap forward. And Trevor could look like amazing. And you still only win like 6 games because you're in like the AFC. Like that, it's just nuts.
Yeah, so as a Jags fan, all I'm looking for is Trevor's improvement. I don't really care as much about wins this year. I would like to win some games, yes, and I think if he improves enough, we will win stuff. But let's be honest, this conference is so stacked. I mean, the Jags and the Texans are going to play the AFC West this year. How many games combined do they beat an AFC West team? Maybe one. They pull one upset.
Yeah.
Like that's tough ask right there. I mean, if we're being honest, the Colts are solid now. The Titans are still solid. They're going to probably battle for the division. The Jags definitely improved. The Texans should be better.
Yeah.
Then you look at those other two divisions. I mean, well, you got the Bills with the AFC East.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. The Bills probably have that handled. Now the Dolphins are looking to make a run. I think the Patriots are going to take a massive step back at this point.
Yeah, me too.
The Patriots are in trouble. And then the Jets are going to depend on Wilson a lot like the Jags are. But the North and the West, oh my God, what divisions. I mean, Burrow, Lamar, Deshaun now. The Steelers are solid.
I could even argue that the Steelers got better, man. I know that sounds crazy,
they did.
But I mean, the last time we saw Mitchell Trubisky with a fundamentally set team around him, he did fine. He took him to the playoffs. Like, he'll be well coached. He'll have a good defense, and he'll have weapons. Every single team in all of those in the West and North got better, dude. You're spot on.
Not only that, they all have decent to above O-lines, A-plus weapons, and good pass rushers, except for maybe Baltimore.
Yeah.
They don't have the pass rush.
Yeah.
But they blitz all the time, too. So it's like –
it's nuts, man.
Yeah, it's a crazy conference. Really, you got to think, like, Brady knew what he was doing coming back. He was like, okay, this is like NFC Championship game easy. Like,
and I don't want to act like I'm all sour and all that stuff. It's another reason why I thought we had Watson in the bag. Albert Breer said that the reason why Watson crossed the Browns off the first time is because the one time the Texans went up there and played the Browns, it was raining, it was cold, and the score ended 13-10. And he said he hated every single bit of that game, and he never won. Albert Breer reported that on the Herd, and I was like, that makes sense. He's going to come play in a dome. What the hell changed his mind? Oh, yeah, $230 million. And then the second thing is, I thought he was going to look around and genuinely say, man, other than Rodgers, who lost his best weapon, Stafford, who's getting older, and Brady, I could run this place. I could run this entire division, and Kyler as well, but there's issues going on with Kyler there. Like, that's why I thought we were locked. Again, don't want to get back into it and all sour in my feelings, but I was shocked that he was wanting to go to the AFC because of that.
Yeah, so think about this one. So we got all hyped up about Josh Allen and Mahomes, and then Mahomes played Joe Burrow. Think about these matchups. If everyone stays chalk with these quarterbacks, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Herbert, Russell Wilson, Burrow, Lamar, Deshaun Watson. Then you got whoever makes it between Matt Ryan and Tannehill. And I mean, think about it. If Zach Wilson or Trevor Lawrence makes the jump, right?
Yeah.
Add them to it. You got like your 9 playoff spots are all going to be 9 of the 13, 15 best quarterbacks in the league.
Yes.
It's insane.
Every single primetime game is going to the AFC. The NFC is about, other than Brady and the Pack, the NFC's getting no primetime games.
And out of all those, I've said all those, right? I've said that 5 times. I didn't even include the Raiders in that.
I know.
Like,
he's got way better. Like, it's just, it's nuts, man. Like, if I'm like ESPN or NBC, I'm telling the NFL, just give me every single AFC West matchup for primetime. That's it. Like, make every single AFC West matchup on Monday Night Football. I'm good. Like that. That's all. It's nuts, bro. It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, just wait till they play the North again, and then you're going to get Burrow against all 4 of the AFC West. You're going to get Lamar against all 4 of the AFC West.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. It is definitely crazy, but it's also amazing for football fans. This was the Money Down Pod. That is Sean White at Dumpster Fire Fan. I am Kayvon Izami at Kayvon_sports. Let us know your thoughts. Do you like what we just said about any of this stuff? Do you hate it? Do you disagree? What are your thoughts on free agency? What are your thoughts on the AFC, the NFC, the Browns getting Watson, and much, much more? Tyreek Hill. I want to hear from Dolphins fans as well, what you guys feel about that. So let us know at Money Down Pod. You can also comment on YouTube. We will see that there. We will be back this week with draft talk. We have not done draft in a while now. We're definitely going to get back into it. Now that teams are really settled in free agency, our mock draft is going to be completely different from last time. Like, there's going to be so much to get into. We're going to break down positions. We're going to do another mock, so definitely stay tuned for that.
Yeah, I didn't talk to Kayvon about this before, but I think we're going to do a mock this week. I think that's going to be what's most fun. We'll do a nice post-free agency mock, post-combine, get it nice and tight, ready to go. And if you agree or disagree, make sure you comment, like some team needs stuff, but that'll be fun. And we'll probably hit you with a quick March Madness Sweet 16 video at the end of the week to kick it off, too. Yes. So we got a lot going on. Make sure you tune in.
No doubt about it. This was the Money Down Pod at Money Down Pod. Thank you for tuning in. Talk to you more later this week.